With crypto, there's a lot of similarities with the stock market. There's an old saying that I've always had in the stock market that everybody's a genius in a bull market.
Yeah.
You know, where when stock prices are going up, everybody will tell you what stocks they're buying, right? When stock prices are going down, everybody gets really, really quiet. And it's the same with crypto. You know, when Ethereum and Bitcoin and some of the others are going up, everybody will tell you how smart they feel. But when they go down, you know, no one wants to say a word. And the reality is you have to look for the utility or the value of any investment that you make. You know, you have to say, why are people buying Bitcoin? In reality, Bitcoin, just like an NFT is a digital version of art, you know, we compared it to the Mona Lisa. Bitcoin is a digital version of gold.
Right.
Gold, you know, people say, well, gold has real value as jewelry. Nobody needs gold jewelry. People like gold jewelry because, you know, it keeps a shine, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of reasons to love gold as jewelry. But if gold jewelry went away, the world wouldn't change. Yeah. You know, and there's a few manufacturing applications, but gold has value because people assign it value. And those types of investments are called store of value. They're kind of like commodities, like you just said. Bitcoin's the same way. It just happens to be digital. It's limited by an algorithm and how many that's created. So there's a scarcity factor. You can't just create it forever. And because of that, and because it's easy to transfer, it's easy in some cases to use for cross-border payments between people in different countries. So there's some utility, but mostly people buy Bitcoin and own Bitcoin like I do because other people own Bitcoin. Now you hear a lot of stories. Bitcoin is a hedge to inflation. Gold is a hedge to inflation. It's not. It's not. You know, we're having a lot of inflation right now. Bitcoin ain't going up. We're having a lot of inflation right now. Gold ain't going up. They bounced around pretty much where they are. And so you've got to understand, if you're buying Bitcoin, it's a store value. And like any store value, gold or otherwise, the price is based on supply and demand. When people are selling, more people are selling than buying, it goes down. When more people are buying than selling, it goes up. And again, that's not a whole lot different than the stock market either. You know, tech stocks have gotten crushed worse than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum's a little bit different, right? Ethereum has some level of utility where you can use it for transactions. Most NFTs are bought and sold using Ethereum. So in order to buy a Bored Ape for 100 Ethereum, you have to go buy that Ethereum. And so the more demand there is for Bored Apes or the Ape coin or whatever that's based on Ethereum, the more value Ethereum, the token, is going to have. And so when I look at any of my crypto investments, that's the first question I have. What is the core utility of it? What value does it serve? And so that's why I own more Ethereum than I do Bitcoin. Now, that said, again, when all tokens, like stocks, have some level of speculators in it, right? People who aren't long-term investors, they just want to buy because they think it's going up. And so when a market loses those speculators, and we're losing a lot of them now because interest rates are going up. Because if when you had your choice of putting your hard-earned dollars in the bank and earning 0.1% interest, you're probably going to speculate more. But now that interest rates are going up, people are speculating less. And you can't borrow money to speculate as inexpensively, so they speculate even less. And as a result, stock prices are going down. You know, I own Amazon, I own Netflix. Those prices have gone down more than my Bitcoin and my Ethereum have gone down. But that's just the way it goes. And so, you know, at this point in time, what I'm doing is looking to see, is there anything there that's gotten so cheap that it's time to really take a strong look at starting to buy some. And I've dabbled, you know, when Ethereum gets down under let's say $1,800, I'll buy a little bit. When Bitcoin gets down under 28,000, I'll buy just a little bit, because it's really hard to predict how low it's going to go. So I haven't gone all in yet. One of the big things that's happening right now is, you know, employees are starting to get a little bit more traction and having an impact at the companies that they work for. You know, because at least as of now, there's more jobs than there are employees, and it's not hard to go, you know, leave your job and find another job, possibly paying even more. And companies are having to pay more to keep good people. Employees are getting more and more power. And that power is an example of why DAOs may start to have an impact in startups going forward. And so I'm starting to talk to companies now that are saying, okay, rather than creating an LLC or rather than creating a subchapter S corporation and incorporating in Delaware, I'm going to create a company as a DAO. And I'm going to pay my employees good wages because they need to be compensated. But at the same time, I want them to participate more in how we govern the company. And so we're going to give them tokens, and we're going to post things so that they can vote on different business decisions. And so I think we're really just not even in the first minute of that industry and that happening. But I think that's the future of DAOs, where it may be a better way to do a startup that allows your employees to be more participant and contribute ideas and vote on ideas and make it more democratic, more progressive, more democratic. And if you start to see some companies achieve some success that way, I think you'll see more and more DAOs take place. So for me, hustling and grinding have always been just about the process, right? Whatever I need to accomplish, finding a way, figuring out a way. And I was fortunate because I learned how to sell when I was young. And once you know how to sell and have that confidence, you're always going to have a job, and you're always going to find a way to pay your bills, or at least come close to paying your bills. And that's worked out to me. And it's the same thing applies now. To me, hustling today means learning where other people don't take the time. All the things we just talked about with Web3 and tokens and, 3 years ago, I didn't know 99% of that. I had to put in the time to learn it. And literally it takes a lot of time. It's not something where, you just, watch some videos and you've got it all figured out. You've got to dig in. You've got to understand how smart contracts work. You've got to understand what decentralization is, how a DAO works. All those things we've talked about. To me, that's hustling. To me, that's grinding. That's part of what you have to do to win a business. If you don't question yourself, if you don't, wonder whether you've done enough, then you're not doing enough. There's nobody I know that's been truly successful that hasn't questioned themselves every step of the way. And that's one of the things that motivates. How can I do better? How can I be better? How can I learn more? How can I make people around me feel better? Or what can I do to help? And what can I do to help myself? And we all go through those question marks, and we all question ourselves and whether we're qualified to be here, to be on this podcast, whatever it may be, and you just, I remember being broke, sleeping on the floor, wondering, if the bill collectors would ever stop calling, and being in that situation and just telling myself, just keep grinding. And then finally starting a business that started to work, and telling myself, okay, you've been in business 1 month, just be in business 1 more month. And then, okay, you've been in business 2 months, be in business 3 months, right? And then who knows where it'll take you. And so, what I'd say to everybody is everybody questions themselves, and everybody wonders, how they compare. Everybody compares themselves to other people, whether or not they can compete. But the reality is you have to take that first step. That's it. The hardest part isn't the last 5 steps. The hardest part is the first 5 steps, because most people think they can't do it. But you just, if you're prepared, you'll know when, and then just go do it.